Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and start this webinar. Today's webinar is on U.S. News Media June 30th, 2022 zip code quarterly filing overview. So today I'll be going over the filing tool for the June quarterly filing for U.S. News Media zip code filing. But before I go into the live demo of the filing tool, I did want to provide you some quick filing tips, especially when you file your June and December quarterly zip codes. I'll then close out the webinar on who you can contact for any filing questions. Now, all of AAM News Media clients file 2 6-month publisher statements a year that detail their distribution claims. A newspaper will file a 6-month ending March and a 6-month ending December. In addition to that, for our U.S. News Media clients, they also file quarterly zip codes. So, for example, when you file your 6-month publisher statement, you will also file your zip code information for the March quarter. So below is a quick chart for the due dates for what I refer to as the off cycles from the 6-month filing for the June and December quarters. So for the June and December filing, zip code quarterly filing, you file less data as you do when you file your 6-month distribution claims. So just remember, for U.S. publications, twice a year you file 2 6-month publisher statements, and then every quarter for U.S. News Media clients, you file quarterly zip codes. But the due dates are below are for when you are filing your June quarter and your December quarter. So for June quarterly zip codes, it is due July 15th for dailies. And if you're a weekly publication or in a simplified format, which we refer to as the Canadian or the Community Newspaper Audit Plan, that's due July 20th. So that's right around the corner here. For December quarterly filing, the dailies would be due January 15th. And for weeklies, or those are on a CNA audit plan, is due January 20th. I do want to point out that if the due date happens to fall on a weekend day, then the due date will be that following business day. So when you file your June quarterly information, as well as your December quarterly information, there's not as much information to file as when you're filing your distribution for 6-month ending, March and September. So listed below are some 5 quick steps when you file your June quarterly information, as well as your December quarterly information. The first step, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to log into the filing tool. Next, you're going to reconcile your publishing days. What I mean by that is you're just going to double check that the net publishing days we have in the filing tool, they match what you have on your circulation report for that quarter period. Then you're going to enter your 3-month total net print and digital distribution by frequency. And then you're going to go right into filing your zip code information. You're going to select your paragraph 3 dates, and then you're going to enter your zip code information and then submit. Now, before I do the live demo of the filing tool, I did want to provide you some quick filing tips for each step. So the first step is you're going to log into the Publishing Filing Center. When you go into the Filing Center, it's going to ask for your member number, username, and password. Those credentials are unique for your publication. So if you're not sure what your login credentials are, please contact AAM at 224-366-6339, and we're more than happy to provide that information for you. Also, I do want to point out that when your credentials for the filing tool, they are then the Media Intelligence Center. So again, if you have any questions on what your credentials are, just contact us here at AAM. The next filing tip I want to go over with you is for step 2, when you verify your publishing days. So we're working right now on the June quarter. You're going to run a circulation report from April 1st through June 30th. And when you run that circulation report, it's going to have what your total publishing days are for that time period. So you want to make sure that what we have listed in the system for net days matches your circulation report. So you want to take into account any non-publishing days and or any omitted days. So a non-publishing day means you just didn't publish. For example, for the April through June time period, that quarter, Memorial Day is a popular day that is a non-publishing day. Omitted days, what that is, means you actually did publish that day, but due to circumstances that were beyond your control, you do not want to count that in your averages. The distribution was really low. Say, for example, inclement weather, there was a nasty storm in your area, it was hard to get the papers out. So you may want to consider omitting that day. What the rule states is you can omit that day, but you want to take that day you're omitting and compare it to the previous corresponding week. And as long as the difference is between 5% difference, you can omit that day. The other criteria is that you're only allowed to omit up to 10 days per year. So that's omitted days. Some of you publish every day during the quarter. You had no non-publishing days and no omitted days. If that's the case, you don't need to worry about this part. But you always want to double check reconciliation of days. Reconciliation days, when you click on that particular section, the filing tool, there's nearly nothing for you to do in this section, but you want to use it as a double check. You want to make sure that the net days that are listed here match what's in your circulation report. Next is step 3, circulation data. You're going to enter your 3-month net totals for the print and digital. Now, this is a little bit different than you filing your 6-month distribution. When you file 6-month distribution, it's for the 6-month time period. And not only you're providing totals, but you're also providing your distribution by category, such as single copy sales, NIE, your qualified distribution, things of that nature. But for 3 months, for your June and December, all we're asking is your 3-month average, and it's your net, meaning returns are deducted. So you deduct any single copy returns, and we want it for the total print and the total net digital. So again, you're not breaking out all the categories, so that's a time saver right there, and it's for 3 months. So when you provide this information, you're going to put in the total, not averages, because what the filing tool will do will take the information you've entered here and divide by the number of days to calculate the average. So again, it's the total net 3 months for your print distribution and any applicable digital circulation. One other tip in this for circulation section here, the information you enter here is not going to be released in our database, but we do use this information when we are calculating comparisons for your zip code. So I do want to point it out, we do use this information, but it is not housed in our Media Intelligence Center. We use it for zip codes. Next is step 4. The very first thing you're going to do this is your zip code information. The very first thing you're going to do when you get to this section is it has add modify. The very first time you're selecting your paragraph 3 dates, you're going to click on add new 1-day distribution. When you click on that, it brings up a survey questionnaire. And the very first question it wants to know is, what is your 1-day distribution for your primary newspaper? So what you're going to do is you're going to select a daily date and a representative Sunday date, if applicable. Saturday is optional unless Saturday is a main frequency for you. Otherwise, Saturday would be optional. What you're going to do then, you want to select a paragraph 3 date, and we ask that it's representative. What we mean by that, it's not a crazy circulation day for you. It's a normal distribution day. When you can look at that date you selected, it's not more than 5% between the week before and the week after. We don't select those dates. You select them. All we ask is that it's within the quarter period. So since we're dealing with a June quarter, it's from April 1st through June 30th. Most publications, they usually pick like the last week in June, but again, it's purely up to you. It just needs to be within that quarter. You'll use the calendar box to bring down, to select your paragraph 3 dates. And then you need to enter a pub code. For most of you, the pub code can just be the initials of your publication. However, if you have pages and pages of zip codes, I highly recommend that you upload your zip code file. But if you are uploading a zip code file, you have to meet AAM specifications. So I will show you that in the live demo. But the pub code that you have listed in the file that you upload should be the code that you put here. Otherwise, if you're not uploading a zip code file, just go ahead and put the initials of your publication. Then once you select your paragraph 3 dates, your zip code dates, you're going to click on that at the bottom of the page of the zip code survey. There's going to be a tab called circulation record. You're going to click on that, and it's going to ask you for what is your distribution for that day that you selected. And it breaks it down by paid and by qualified distribution and any applicable digital. I do want to point out that that when you select your paragraph 3 dates, it can include returns. It can be gross sales. Reason why is we have in our Media Intelligence Center, all our clients have access to our database, including your zip code information. We have advertisers, media buyers that access it, and you just want to make sure that you're getting enough inserts. So that's why we allow you for paragraph 3 dates only for your zip code. It can be gross sales. Your 3-month average that you report, that's net, but zip code can be gross. So what you're going to do is you're going to run a report from your system just for that day, and you'll need to take your distribution and break it down by paid and qualified, and then any applicable digital. Qualified circulation, what that is, it's typically your employee copies, NIE if you have any sampling that you're reporting, that is what we consider as qualified distribution. Once you've entered the zip code information, your circulation information for the zip code dates, you're going to select a zip code data entry tab, and then this will pop up. The AAM will bring up your latest release zip codes that we had for you, and you can add or delete zip codes, and then you manually enter in your zip code information. This information, again, is coming from your circulation system. You'll run a report for the paragraph 3 date chosen, and it typically is called zip code report. Sometimes it's called AABC zip code report or AAM zip code, but it's called a zip code report. And it takes your 1-day distribution and it breaks it down by category and by zip code. So it's a pretty slick report, and that's what you're going to use to enter into the filing tool. However, I do have a quick tip that's a time saver. It's called prorating your zip code. So what does that mean? Proration means you still select your paragraph 3 dates, you still provide your circulation for that date, but instead of manually entering in your information, you're going to use the last release zip code that we have on file for you, and the filing tool is going to calculate your zip codes for you. So what happens is the filing tool will take the last paragraph 3 we had on file for you, compare it to your current paragraph 3 dates, and calculate your zip codes. So it's a time saver in the fact that you don't have to do a lot of data entry. Highly, highly recommend you prorate, especially for your off cycles of June and December. However, if you want to prorate, there are some criteria you have to meet in order to be able to take advantage of prorating. One is that there's no new circulation categories that you've added since your last actual zip code. You haven't added any news affiliated publications, and at least one reporting quarter during your audit period has been an actual zip code. So technically, for publications that are a 24-month audit cycle, you can prorate 7 out of the 8 quarters if you wanted to, as long as you met the other criteria. Again, it doesn't matter your circ size. If you're 100,000 circulation, as long as you meet the criteria, you can prorate. I highly recommend prorating, especially for the June and December quarters. But again, it's purely up to you. So those are my quick tips. Now I'm going to switch to a live demo. So bear with me as I go into the actual website. So I'm going into AAM's main website, which is at auditedmedia.com. When you go on our main website, there's a login. Click on login, and there you go. It comes up with 2 choices. You have Publishing Filing Center and the Media Intelligence Center. The Publishing Filing Center is where you're going to be filing your distribution claims as well as your zip code information. Once that gets released, then it is housed in AAM's massive database, which is known as the Media Intelligence Center. So at the very end of the webinar, I'll real quick show you the Media Intelligence Center. But for now, we're going to focus on the Publishing Filing Center. For my demonstration purposes, I am actually going to be using the Argus Leader. Again, any information I put in is purely for demonstration purposes, but it's going to ask for your member number, username, and password. Click login. Then it gives you some more choices on the right-hand side. You're going to want to choose file circulation claims. For most of you, it will automatically go into the June time period, but you want to select the June 2022 filing period. So give it a moment. My computer has been running slow today, so I apologize about that. It is taking its time, but it does pop up, I promise. But what will pop up, the very first thing you're going to see is the filing tool. It'll have the welcome page. To be honest, most of you skip this page, but this welcome page actually has some really good information in there. And there's two things in the welcome page that I want to highlight that I think you'll like. One is the contact us. If you have any filing questions, any issues in the filing tool, click contact us, and we're more than happy to address your questions, take care of any of your filing issues. The other thing that I really like in this welcome page is the tutorials and guides. When you click on tutorial and guides, it goes onto AM's resource page for news media. And we just added a brand new guide for filing your zip code data. So it goes step by step for just filing zip code information. It's a great guide. So if you have any questions, highly recommend that. And that's that welcome page. But for our purposes, we're going to be mainly concentrating on when you file your June quarterly zip code. You're going to look at your main edition pub plan, applicable any affiliated pub plan, reconciliation of days, your circulation data, and zip code. The rest of the filing tool you do not use at this point. So main edition pub plan. When you click on this, it just shows you that it starts on April 1st and June 30th. So that's what you want to run your circulation report for. It's going to show you that what we have on file for you for your frequencies. If that changed, let us know. And here is where you can add any non-pub days and or omitted days. If you have a non-publishing day, click on the plus icon to bring down the calendar box, and then click on the calendar box and then select what your non-pub day is. And if you made a mistake, just use a red X. I already took the liberty of selecting May 30th for my non-pub day. Some of you published every day, so you don't need to do anything in this section. Same thing holds true for the omitted days. If you're omitting a day, use that plus icon to bring down that calendar box, select what your omitted day is, and then total net circulation. But in my case, I don't have omitted days. Some of you may not even have non-publishing days. You probably published every single day during this quarter period. But you just want to make sure you account for any non-publishing days and or omitted days. Go ahead and click Save and Continue, and make sure each section of the filing tool has a save feature, so make sure you save. You're going to do the same thing for your affiliated publication. If you expand the box, here's your non-publishing day section and omitted days. So fill that out if you need to. Next is reconciliation of days. Now this section, if you click on your title, it expands the box for both your main edition, and if you click on the affiliated publication, it'll expand the box too. There's nothing for you to do here, but you do want to double check the net days, that the net days match the report you pulled from your system. So like I said, you're going to be pulling a circulation report from your system. Actually, for the June quarter and December quarter, you can pull what's called a summary report. You're going to want it to run it for your frequencies. So in this case, it's Monday through Saturday and Sunday. You look at the total net days, and those net day publishing days that are on your circulation report should match what we have here in the filing tool. If not, then go back into the main edition pub plan and adjust accordingly. So I'm all set with my publishing days. Now I am ready to go into enter circulation data. Now, if you notice, this section is a lot different than when you file your 6 months distribution claims. The one main change is you're not filing 6 month distribution, you're filing 3-month distribution. And we're not breaking it up by category. We're not breaking it out by that detailed category, such as paid home delivery, single copy sales, etc. What we want you to report is your total net 3-month total for print, and then applicable digital. So that's why you can run a summary report, because your summary report will typically give you what your total net print distribution is. And net, remember to deduct your single copy report returns. When you enter the information, make sure you're putting in totals, not averages, because the filing tool is going to take the number you put in here, divide by the number of publishing days to come up with your average. So make sure you put in totals. You're going to do that for your main edition as well as for your affiliated publication if you happen to have an affiliated pub. Then click Save and Continue. Now we're into zip code. The very first time you go into zip code, the very first time you haven't selected date, click on Add One-Day Distribution, and then go ahead, use the red calendar box to select your paragraph 3 dates. But if you went ahead, let's say you had a meeting and you had to leave the filing tool and you're going to enter the zip code information. You select your paragraph 3 dates, but you're going to enter the data later. You can do that. What you're going to do is to go and if you're going in for the second time to look at your information, click on Edit. You'll look at the dates here because it has my dates that I already selected. So you only use this one new day distribution button once. If you're going back into the filing tool after you selected your paragraph 3 dates, use Edit. So again, when you click on your the edit, what it does, it brings up the paragraph 3 survey. Again, the very first thing you need to select your paragraph 3 dates. Remember, it's a representative daily and a representative Sunday. Saturday is optional, unless that's the only frequency you have for your publication, and the pub code. Pub code could be just the initials of your publication. However, if you're uploading a file, if you have pages and pages of zip codes, I recommend you upload a file. To do that, go to section 4 in the survey. Click on Upload Specifications. When you do that, it gives you all the specs for how to set up your file to upload, and that you need to save it to a CSV file. The pub code that you have listed in the file you're uploading should be the pub code you put here. But for my purposes, I'm not uploading a file. So I'm just going to put the initials of the publication. I'm going to do the same thing for affiliated publication. So for those that have affiliated publication that you report for AAM, you're going to select the paragraph 3 date and also put in what the pub code is. Do you want to point out that we recommend that the Sunday date that you chose for your main edition or the paragraph 3 date you chose for your main edition is the same date you use for your affiliated publications. Next is this question: do you want to prorate? Now remember, all publications are eligible to prorate. You just want to make sure that from the last actual one-day distribution we have on file, and you'll know that right here, that you haven't added any new distribution categories, added any affiliated publications, and at least one of the quarters for your audit cycle is an actual. So for most of you, for the June quarter, you would be eligible to prorate. I highly recommend prorating, especially for the June and December quarters. As long as you meet that criteria, I would prorate. But again, that's me. It's up to you. So for my example, I'm going to say yes. Regardless if you're prorating or not, all of you still you select your paragraph 3 dates and you click on circulation record totals to provide what is your distribution for those paragraph 3 dates for paid circulation, your qualified, and digital replica or replica, if applicable. So you're going to run a circulation report, and remember the circulation report you're going to run is for the specific day. So in this case, June 26th, I would run the report, and I can run it as gross sales because zip codes can include returns. So just remember that the 3-month average is net, but zip codes can be gross. You can't include returns. Also, you're going to put in what your total distribution is for paid and for qualified. If you're not sure what those categories are, go ahead and click on this news media map, and it shows you what makes up paid and qualified. Once you've entered that data in for your main edition and your affiliated publication, if applicable, click on zip code data entry. What the filing tool will do is going to bring up your zip codes that we had on file for you in the past, and then you're going to manually enter in your distribution for zip codes. But since I'm prorating, I answered yes to question 5. I'm going to click this calculate proration button. And what will happen is then the filing tool will calculate my zip codes for me. So it's kind of cool that it does that. It's a time saver, actually. Otherwise, if I wasn't prorating, you're going to run a report from your circulation system for that paragraph 3 date. It's going to say zip code report. And that zip code report for that day will break down your distribution by zip code. So you would manually enter this information. So you either manually enter this information in, or you click calculate proration for the filing tool to calculate your zip codes. You want to do the zip codes for both the frequencies you have selected for your paragraph 3 dates. So in my case, it's Sunday and a Thursday. You also want to do it for your affiliated publication too. So you want to make sure you include all your zip code information. Now we're getting close to the final steps here. What you want to double check is that the zip code totals by category match what you put for the circulation record, and there should be 0 differences. I do want to point out that digital is not broken out by zip code. It is a total. We just put the zip codes when you break out this distribution, it is your print distribution. You do include digital, but as a line item only. You want to make sure that the filing tool, that the zip codes you've entered in the filing tool matches your circulation record totals and there's 0 differences. If there are differences, then either correct the circulation record or correct the zip code. Once you've entered your information, your zip code for your paragraph 3 dates, any affiliate publications, you have 0 differences, you're in the final stage now to submit. Before you submit, though, I do recommend export to Excel. What this will do, it will take your zip codes that you've entered, save it to an Excel file, and then you can have that file as backup. But then once everything is ready, click ready for submission. You put in what your email address is and click ready for submission. And that's it. You're done. That's it for filing your June quarter. So your June quarter and the quarter for your December quarterly filing, it's a little bit more simplified than when you file your 6-month information. There's not as much to it. So did want to just kind of quickly go over what those steps were for filing your zip code information. Now, before I let you go, I do want to show you what happens to your zip code information once it's released. Once your zip code is released, it goes into our database. So I'm back on AAM's main website, and all of you have access to our Media Intelligence Center. So click on login, go into Media Intelligence Center. It's going to ask for credentials. These credentials are different than the Publishing Filing Center. So you can always contact AAM and we can give you temporary credentials to get in. Enter in your credentials. And then in a search by bar, either type in the title of your publication or a member number. I'm kind of member number driven, so I usually do the member number. Oops, that's not the one I want. I'm going to type in August Leader. There we go. Once I type in my title, check the boxes for the publication right next to it. So it brings up this Analyze Data button. When you click on Analyze Data, go into News Media Analyzer, scroll down a little bit. It says it's for the current reporting period. So it's going to bring up the latest release report. If you want to go back in time and do comparisons, you can do that. Click Historical and select what zip code period you want to select. And then go into zip code distribution, use this Excel icon, and it'll download your zip code for you. So that's where your zip code information is housed once it's released. So before I end the webinar, I do want to point out that if you have any filing questions, you have any issues with the filing tool, please do not hesitate to contact us. We are more than happy to help you out. You can contact either myself or my colleague, Tim, Rebecca, or Shelley. Do want to point out that the filing tool is open now and that the filing due date for your June quarter is actually July 15th for dailies. And if you're on a weekly or CNA format, it's due July 20th. So with that, thank you so much for joining me on today's webinar and have a great day.